Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao. I was reflecting on something about why the ancients got the name that they are men or women of understanding. And people with that outlook that is universal, that they want best for all living beings, including the animals and plants and the human beings, and also not really identifying human beings by religion, by nation, by poor or rich, none of that, right? So they had a universal perspective that is beneficial for everybody. How is that we don't have that? How is that we are kind of divide ourselves among ourselves and then fight among ourselves? That's a general thing, right? But these men of understanding had a perspective that is universal, and they had real friendship and affection and love for in a broad perspective, not everybody, everything. They have a broad perspective, right? So I was reflecting on that, and then I wanted to know why we are kind of, you know, uh, like this, why we are having the problems of this. Okay, then you could see uh, the whole thing is about uh, everywhere we have, either we have a present thing that we could select that is short lived or instant gratification, or good for everybody. It used to be, they used to think only the job of people who are politicians or who are wants to aspire to be rulers, or who are aspiring to be really active service, and so that kind of noble approach in their mind and all that. Whereas if you take the earlier cultures, they started with that, and that's why they planned for the long term, and they were really coming out of that understanding that we have only one earth, and we are all one human tribe, and we are all really make up a consciousness that is only one, and we are among that. So that kind of understanding was passed down to generations, so people always had this selfishness, egotism, self-centeredness, and really want to live their life well at the cost of others. That is there. But I'm talking about real uh, wise people. We call them sages. We call them uh, masters. We call them gurus. We call them yogis. We call several things in Indian culture that was there. So there was a natural respect for these people with understanding. The way structure of the society was, there were young people, there were children, and there were old people. The children carefreely, they were playing and learning and getting a lot of love and affection from the parents and grandparents and all that. And the young people are the one breadwinners that are supporting the kids on one hand, and the old people who are not able to work anymore. That kind of thing was there. But these old people, men of wisdom, experience, and understanding of the life. So they understood the system of marriage. They understood the system of education. They understood in much larger sense. That's why kings used to listen to these men of understanding, and then they were able to really help them, right? Help them to lead a life that is devoid of confusion, non-clarity, or really worried about their stuff, right? So they were able to have uh, a psychological support, or in their own thinking, some learning and understanding and clarity. See, that kind of thing is done now, but at a cost, right? People are doing it, but they also, even if you go to the people who are purported to be the teachers or gurus or coaches, whatever, if you take their own inner life, they may not have this understanding I'm talking about. They may not have the perspective of the whole world. They may not have the perspective of non-egotism and service orientation and really helping people to live a happier life and peaceful life and all that. That's pretty evident, right? So because we are divided in so many ways and we don't have the perspective that's universal. The astronauts, when they were flying through the rockets away from Earth and they went landed on the moon, they looked at the Earth, which is blue, and they realized we are only one human tribe from up there, but we are not together. See, we kind of divide ourselves here and then fight among each other, right? That's pretty evident, you know. So, but they had a spiritual experience. Many of these astronauts and scientists, if you interview them, they will tell you how they were really feeling that togetherness and everything from their uh, own perspective. They said that was a spiritual experience for us when we really saw the earth from there. You know, so I was not surprised, but I was very happy to hear their voice like that. Right. So, who is a man of understanding? What are the traits he has? You know, first of all, um, he is not for himself only; he is for everybody because he knows we are all in this together. People say, "Oh, we are all in this together," but really, when the things go north or something goes wrong, then they will first look to their own interests. Right? That's the problem. You know. So many people can be intellectual, clever, articulate, shrewd, and really smart about street smart. You know, they want to protect themselves for the things that may not last for a long time, but they think they're going to be there for last time. So, a man of understanding of the universe, of the earth, of the entire humanity, of the problems of human life can go through. And because he has a good grasp of it, he could give clarity to the people who don't have that. But not by force, but by gently, affectionately guiding them through the mazes that we built up for ourselves. So that kind of man with understanding is what I was looking for. One of the things I will bring you here is about that prayas versus shreyas. These are two Sanskrit words. Prayas is more like a instant gratification or pleasure. I'm going to do this just for the pleasure here and now. You know, not really thinking of the consequences, not thinking is it good or not. Our whole culture has evolved into instant gratification, whereas the other word is shreyas. So, what is good for all in the long run? What is that we should be building up? What should be really seeing instant gratification as something like an addiction, and then we won't be really considering all things about everything all the time. So they always teach you think of the long term, think of the vision for the long term for everybody and all that. So that kind of cultures persisted because this entertainment or just instantly getting everything was not there. They had this capacity to sit down and reflect for a long time. So anything that is happening in the life, they can take time to reflect on that. How much are we doing? Okay, so if you look at every moment, life offers us two paths. One is the pleasant, short lived, and instant gratification. Other one is the good for the long term. See, when you are in the praise, that is instant gratification, that is flattering our senses. When you are in the praise mode, that nourishes our inner soul, inner awareness, and all that. So, when you are not thinking on the data but looking at things without judging anything, your awareness helps you to discern which to follow. Okay, how many people are really reflecting, stopping whatever that comes to them immediately, and instead of reacting, really take a deep breath, take a pause, and then go into not really reacting, but you really go into long-term vision. Respond with that vision. Reaction versus responding. Okay. See, Jiddu Krishnamurti said something very important. To to have that ability, the ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. Think about that. Okay. If you are based on whatever past you have, then you are not really observing as it is. Okay. So some of the micro practices that you could do for this are: begin your day with a minute of silence. Observe your thoughts as clouds drifting by. And then pause and breathe before each decision. Choose clarity over compulsion. You may feel compulsion from within, from the outside, from the society, from the family, from the culture, but you want to see that with the clarity, right? And then, end of the day, end it with a gratitude. So reflect on the moments of awareness that you had, and that reflection prompts, you can say, my long-term well, long-term goodness or prayers or shreyas, not prayers, shreyas. My shreyas practice today is I was able to observe I'm more of responding, not reacting. I have the reactions, but I'm not impulsive about executing them. And then you say, one thing I observed without judgment today, write it down. And then, so you say, a moment of stillness, I will repeat tomorrow. Then slowly you will get into that, and then you don't have to do this affirmations at all. Okay. So, not having the man of understanding in modern life, what it is doing is it is kind of dividing us. It kind of creating enemies for us. Kind of divisions that are clashing. It could be a big war, or it could be economic inequality. It could be in the society, men or women are not being equally, or it could be racism, where you see one particular person is below you and then you mistreat them. See, these are the consequences of not having men of understanding, men of love, men of real compassion, right? That's where the spirituality leads you. It doesn't give you an identification of religion, but you can learn the religion uh, wisdom, whatever wisdom that is there. But you don't go into identifying yourself to certain particular religion and then divide everybody else that is not. On the other hand, they say all the religions say the same thing, and I'm going to learn from each perspective and then improve my life. That is the people of understanding do. What do you think? Is that far-fetched, or is this something reality that you could see? I could see this as a reality that is happening in our life, in our world. And that's why we build so many nuclear arms and other things, because we cannot accept other people. And then we don't know when we're going to blow up ourselves, right? So I am going to do a major room on this because it takes some time to do that, you know. But down the line, you reflect on it, you think about it, you know, and then you come with the, your own way of looking at this. Do we really have men of understanding in our leaders? in our corporate persons that are running corporations, in our mm, media that have this idea of, understand the whole life, understand the whole existence, and then come from that. You want to pick up certain faith, certain philosophy, certain way of thinking, certain way of looking at things. That is not really a man of understanding. It's a man of opinion, man of their own way of looking at it, without expanding that perspective. Do we think about the whole earth? Do we think about the um, destruction that we are doing? Do we think about the people who died in the wars? Do you think about people arguing and losing all their energy and mental peace because they think they are certain religion and other religion people are not good? And then racism also, all these things, right? So what I am saying is, if you don't have men of understanding in the broad perspective I described you, then you are going to have the consequences of people with no understanding running our lives. Politicians are, so-called teachers, so-called coaches, or so-called, people trying to be active about certain reason, and then they kind of form everybody's organization around that, whatever the vision they have, and that may be against some people and for their own egotistical needs and all that. That's what is happening as I see that. So, what do you say? Anybody has any opinion or any comment you want to say? You can come up and tell me about it. Like I said, I was building upon this need for men of understanding and understand what do I mean by broad understanding of life. Are there people like that? There may be some. There may be maybe in our neighborhood. We don't know. But do we value them? Or do we value them according to what they have? That kind of thing. So I'm going to define this man of understanding, how they were in the ancient times, how those cultures flourished, and then these people acted as the teachers of the uh, kings. So kings have these people whom they respected because the wise person has developed dispassion for the worldly things, and so he's not doing anything for the worldly things. He's compassionate for the suffering people go through. He's compassionate for whatever best life we could have. So they were directing people like that. They were enhancing these human beings with practical wisdom, right? Do we have them here? Or it's not the fault of the leaders, it is how we kind of make them leaders without understanding all this, right? So imagine a king has all authority over the people, but he looked at the people as though they are his children. Look at the politicians now. Do they treat them, the people, as children, as somebody who needs affection, guidance, respect, and love, and not subjecting them to all sorts of troubles? So that kind of leaders were there in the past, but they were dispassionate about the worldly life. So they were kind of able to guide the king for the welfare of the people, all people. And because the king valued that kind of understanding, not what is advantageous for him for the moment, they were able to take that uh, wisdom from the sage who is elderly, who is good understanding and all that. So all the people got benefited because the kings are listening people with understanding, understanding the existence, understanding the human life, understanding the human frailty, understanding what human beings can do to enhance themselves, the body, mind, or inner heart, and all that. right? So that's why this is important. Our times demand that we look at this kind of understanding in ourselves, in our leaders, in our friends, and everything, right? Just gathering together and then chartering something, that may not be enough. You got to reflect on things. You got to sit down and go deeper into yourself and understand what are the things you are going through, what are the things you claim that you understand, what are the confusions that you have. All that is clarified during the reflective phase. So how often people have this habit of just staying away from everything outward life and then sit down, close your eyes, and see how your mind is projecting, how your mind is recollecting, how his mind is fixed in some things, and what is your behavior. Reflect you when you reflect from morning till evening. What are the things that you are going through, or you are saying to people, or you are doing to people? That kind of that reflection attitude is very important. And if you read these men of understanding of all eras, then you will see many of them are unselfish. Many of them are have this natural love and compassion. Many of them see the whole life is kind of transitory, like a bubble. It can break at any time. So understanding that, they live every day much more freshly, much more fully, right? So, so nobody has any response for this. Do you do you like this topic at all, or is there something that doesn't make sense to you? So you can come up and tell me about it before I close the room, because if you are really not that much, there's no point discussing it. But I want to present this in my satsangs, because we can think about it, we can understand our state of affairs in the world, and we can bring that kind of wisdom that other people had. So people think we are only just the body and then we die and nothing else. Or people may see the understanding, no, we are kind of energy that goes through so many stages. And we can understand that energy, and then not to let that energy make us suffer, but make we live better, even though other things happen in us. So there is a need for the understanding in ourselves, no confusion about life, and not just looking at only the pleasure factor, right? There is a factor of bliss that human beings can experience. And that's not something like a theory. People do feel that. And they see the liberation of the mind, the liberation of the thoughts, and then burying all the things that happened, and then really living the life fully in this moment. All that is comes out of understanding, right? Not somebody is doing, but you can do it yourself. Human experience is like that, right? So you now see why I value ancient wisdom that came out of reflection, meditative awareness, and that came out of perspective that has expanded vastly. Look at that. You can figure it out yourself. I don't have to tell you that. But what I'm saying is that's how I look at the panoramic view of the human existence. It comes into religious violence, it comes into scientific findings, it comes to, uh, you know, really understanding our neuroscience and all that, right? And the more you have the insights of the yesteryear people of understanding, the better you add to your value of living completely, fully, and also enjoying being a human being, enjoying other human beings, enjoying animals, and everything. So it's more like a Ananda, they call it in Sanskrit, is like a unalloyed bliss that's coming out of your own inner self because you are really, really feeling it yourself, ebbing away, coming out of you as a perfume. Very valuable as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so I'm not bothered by the thoughts that come all the time. They can come and go. So I am the sky of awareness. In me, thoughts happen and go. Once I am stationed in the sky of awareness, all the things that come don't take root and then go away. No opinions, no judgments, nothing. On people especially. So it's a very good way of uh, living as a human being in stillness, in bliss and ananda. Okay, that was a wonderful term, ananda, that human beings can experience because they are not these people who are immersed in ananda. They are not instinctive. They are not reactive. They are not small perspective, or they are not fearful of how best I can live, how best I can have for myself. No, you develop the dispassion because you know the triviality of all that. So once you experience this inner bliss, all other things, they're small. You don't sweat the small stuff. And they are all small stuff. Does that make sense to you? Hi, Peter.
It happened on the first time. What do you know?
We're getting lucky, probably.
Stay, Dr. Ra, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So I ordered The Awakening of Intelligence.
Yeah.
And I'm going to dig into that a little bit, the book you told me about last night. So that should be...
That's a major book, Peter. Take your time. It will take several months to really assimilate it. It's not information. It's something happens in you, you know.
Must be studied.
Yeah. Not only study, experience it.
Experience. Okay, that's better. I like that better, actually.
Yeah.
Experience it.
Yeah, these things are not lessons that I can say, somebody says and you follow. Then it becomes information.
Yeah.
It is the inner experience we want to look at. Maybe what they're saying is not the same thing we experience, but suppose you learn something, what do? You first read it, you understand it, then you want to ruminate on the insight. Yeah. And then out of that insight, you experience it. You see, between the wisdom and information, I'm an informatician, right? I work with the science of information. So they say very clearly in science also. First, there are facts of information, and then we put them all together, and out of that, the insight comes because how this works, what it does, and anything like that. Then I absorb those insight into my psyche. That is experiencing the essence of the information. Right. So why I'm into ancient wisdom and also information science? Because we have the information, lot of it, but we're not making it as insight and understanding and experience. So let me see the approach I took there for that book. Maybe that will resonate with you. I looked at this. Okay, what is this title? Who is awakening what? Right. What is his definition of intelligence? Nice. Right? And then, do I approach this with intelligence or with a repetition? Like as a childhood, we used to cram material. Of course. But that is not going to give me answers when I'm facing intelligent questions in the exam. If I have experienced the truth and I know all sorts of things about that, then they ask me questions a different way, I can answer that.
Right.
So our learning improves. Any new material is there, you don't want to go, what I understood, let me confirm that.
Right.
What
So
is
much
it?
of education is
Yes.
built on
Yeah.
memorization. Just memorize and be ready
Exactly.
for the quiz, and that's it. Doesn't make you educated.
Right. That's why a lot of people don't enjoy their work.
Right.
If they are
Right.
enjoying the work, then they'll say, okay, what is that I'm doing? How is this helping me and other people? How is this really giving me joy and satisfaction within me? These are more important, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going into my burnout thing. People come because of this,
Right. They're
Yeah.
burnt out.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about that yesterday with physicians.
Yeah.
Not being present with their patients, just kind of going through their day.
Yeah.
And
I had the
really
privilege.
present with you.
I had the privilege
individual.
with the patients. They spend with me maybe 10, 15 minutes sometimes, but
Mhm.
they tell me,
That's a long time.
no, they tell me the same time or 40 minutes they spend other people, they say, tell me their experience. We feel like we have been talking to you forever. And then, not in the negative sense, in the positive sense, I feel like my mind is heavy when I came here, and half an hour with you, my mind is clear.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That happens because my quality of listening.
Mhm.
I don't have to say anything.
Right.
I just acknowledge, like Peter has come up. Let me acknowledge him. Let me ask his opinion. Let me ask what is going on in his mind. Like awakening the intelligence, we kind of understood how it has to be approached, how I did it, for example. And then you see that a little different because the cobwebs are gone from the mind. Come back, Peter. See, the cobwebs are gone. It could be like you are saying something about it and you have cleared the cobwebs by yourself.
Right.
Because you are able to
speaking through it.
Yeah, you are being affirmed about your expression. Don't have to be right all the time. But look at this way, that kind of thing I used to do with my patients, like they come with a diagnosis of cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were thinking a lot of things, obviously, right? They kind of panic, they kind of fearful and all that. So what is going to happen to my family? What's going to happen to my business? What's going to happen to my quality of life and all that? So many things there will be. The moment you say cancer word, even now this happens, right? Then we say, okay, this cancer was being investigated so many times, so much has gone. This is the statistics tell us how much we are treating these people. For example, yesterday I was seeing a segment on vaccine of cancer.
Vaccine of cancer?
Oh, yeah. So there is a woman, she was diagnosed with a breast cancer, right? And then she could have gone earlier because the earliest prevention is earliest diagnosis, right? But she came to know while she is exploring all the treatment option, there is actually movement for the cancer vaccine.
Wow.
People like me may know about it, but doesn't have to be all the common people know about it. So what we do is we're supposed to update our knowledge and bring it to the benefit of our patients.
Yeah.
We may say it's experimental research, but then these trials are there. This is what is we are investigating. Then they understand about their own cancer. For example, breast cancer is something that we are able to treat better, much better than when I was a medical student. So I tell them, I bring them all that, which I have learned.
Yeah, thank God.
Then it becomes so much easier for them. And also, there is something I bring it to them. What happened to the people who are diagnosed stage 3 or 4 breast cancer and they're sure to die in about 6 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't tell them this time period. What I tell them is, whatever life you have, how can you have a quality of life?
I've heard you say that before. I think that's beautiful. And of course, if they ask you for a range, you'll give it to them. But
no, the thing is, what is the need for that either? Because we can show them statistics, this percentage, this percent, all that. That gives the clarity. But the essential thing is not to have all this thing in your mind. Okay, everybody is going to die. Somebody has 100 years, somebody has 40 years, somebody has 30 years. Then I bring some people who lived fully, but lived a very short time, but their impact on the civilization is enormous.
Yes. Yes.
So how you live is important. How much your life you live is not. What's the guarantee? Suppose I'm going tomorrow, I have an accident in a major motor vehicle. That's not my fault. It happened. So in Urdu, there is a beautiful saying, Peter. Jindagi ka hai ek bulbula hai. This is Urdu. Urdu, okay, the language of Persians and all that. What is it? What is life? It is nothing but a bubble. The bubble we see on the soap bubbles, and how long they last?
Right. They don't.
They
Not
go.
very long.
That kind of thing is life. At any time it can go. But doesn't mean you have to live in fear.
Yeah.
Just means, why are you wasting your life? Live fully. So it comes, my thing comes to experiencing living fully, not in the sense of sensory involvement and all that, but in whatever we do, we enjoy. Whatever relationship we have relationship. See, how many people really waste so much of time in their relationships? There were two women, these are elderly women, they had some difference of opinion and they stopped talking to each other, right? Years they did not talk to each other, okay? And then one woman was diagnosed with a terminal cancer. So the other woman comes to visit her and say, I'm coming here because you have this, you may not be there, that's why I came here. But if the cancer is not diagnosed properly, it's not there, then the same thing goes. We're not on talking terms once I know that you're okay.
Yeah.
What's the point? It's a kind of unnecessarily wasting our time. And also this insight, awareness, and living with the present, that gives you real life lived really, fully, completely, not in, it's a very simple, present moment awareness is in the moment.
Right.
Otherwise, you are living in the thought means that you are not in the life.
I think I told you this before. My dog is a great reminder of that, because dogs are always in the present moment.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
And yeah, and just by spending time with him, I spent a lot of time with him. Obviously, it reminds me just to be present. Like it just.
That is very
really
true with the cats and other things also. They are always completely attentive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was a discussion one time. I heard that professor of religion. He was talking about it, and he said he looked at his cat, and it was looking at the birds that are in the house in a cage separately and all that. So it looks at it so intently, completely. Her eyes are like jewels.
Locked in.
Yeah, locked in. Then he says, what is the attraction to you? Why are you looking at? Because you have not seen them before, for heaven's sake. Then he reminds himself, come on, stop it. He's looking. He is in the act of looking.
Looking.
That being in the act is important.
That's powerful.
Are you lost in thought, or are you acting? You see, when you are reacting, when you are in a crisis, you ask a pilot when a plane is going down, he has only 60 seconds. He says that is the longest 60 seconds he ever lived.
Yeah, sure.
Have you read this book, Razor's Edge, by Somerset Maugham? Look at that book and also look at the movie made on that. It was made
Razor's Edge.
Razor's Edge by Somerset Maugham. You know, he talks about this pushed into action when you are on the razor's edge. Imagine you're walking on the razor, how attentive you would be.
Yeah.
Because if you go that way, this way, you're going to get hurt. So like that, do everything as though you are razor's edge.
Well, here it is. Okay. Yeah.
But we don't, because we want to think about it, and we want to. The thing is, you think about bringing your insight, that's okay, but then you think, and get lost in the thought world. That's why you are not in awareness of what is happening unless something is threatened, and then living with fear. That's not life for me.
Mhm.
It's,
No.
yeah,
No.
it's not, because it's kind of prepare me for a situation, but it should not be anchor on which I will be living in fear, but also doing some stuff.
Mhm.
So all the patient, all the physicians say, "Oh, they're going to take our license away if we do this, that, this, and if we don't do the patient will sue us and all." I said, I will do my best. After that, if they want to take away my license, I don't care.
That sounds like you.
That's it. I said so many times. They said, "Oh, you're so reckless." No, I said, "No, no, I don't want the quality of that kind of thing in my
Yeah.
work." And you know what happened?
Beautiful.
When I go there with the real intent of helping my patient, I don't have to give it like a compassion, big honor. All I feel is, hey, another human being suffering. How can I help?
How can you? My God. That should be
Remembering
taught in
that,
every medical school.
yeah,
That should be taught in
yeah,
every university.
they come with that repeater, but then they are brainwashed into becoming this egotistical knowledge accumulation, and the profits of the knowledge of name, fame, and wealth, they take over
Right.
that. Actually,
It's a
there
whole
is a
system. It's a whole
yeah,
system.
yeah, there is a term called dehumanization in medical schools and residencies. Dehumanizing your medical professionals. They walk in with compassion, with real need to help people, and they may want to make a living. That's okay. But then essence is that is what they lose a lot of them. I try to bring that back to them from their own inner self, dig it up from their own inner self. Once they identify, they are very happy that they are in this profession.
Yeah, because it's probably the reason why they wanted to enter it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Peter. What you're saying, they are there for that reason. They want to help other people, and they have that heart of you know kindness, and really take people by hand and help them. But then that uh, kind of compassion itself is being destroyed by pulling them into this all this wealth. And so how many people build up the ego of these people? Suppose you are a cardiovascular person, you are given the highest importance because you are making a lot of money. Who is doing that? The people are doing that, nurses are doing that, other people are doing that. So it's not important, all those things, because if you touch that inner wealth you have, then it is much more easy for you. So I've been talking about this inner wealth, that's not with the accumulations, that's not with the ego or anything like that. This is unalloyed happiness, ebullient bliss comes out of you when you don't have all these hang-ups with the external things. That is what the people of understanding helped us to understand we have this. You know. Anyway, this is a topic that is, I think we need to pay attention and understand, and also bring that into our own life a little bit. Then we'll be happy, and we'll also provide happiness and compassion and kindness to other people. That's why I brought up this topic. Do we have people who are making rules for us? Are the people of understanding, or people of clever maneuvers that they can do to manipulate us so that they can get their benefit? You think about that question. And I'll do this in a rather detailed manner on the next weekend, maybe, or I don't know, but we will think about that. Okay. Thank you. And I think it's almost 48 minutes I'm here. So thank you all, and I'll see you again later. Bye bye.